Together, the changes represent the biggest rewrite of financial rules since the Great Depression. At the heart of the 2,300 pages in the bill are promises to protect average Americans. Congress agreed to create a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, but the Federal Reserve will pay for it. The central bank will budget about $500 million a year. Travis Plunkett is legislative director of the Consumer Federation of America, a consumer rights group. He says this new independent office will have a lot of responsibility, and that is a good thing. The Bureau will set rules for the marketplace and enforce existing laws. One goal is to keep home buyers from getting bigger loans than they can pay for. But the Bureau will not have power over auto lenders or banks with assets of less than $10 billion. Financial interests spent millions of dollars fighting the bill. The House of Representatives passed its version in December. In July, the Senate voted final approval with the aid of 3 Republican senators. House Minority Leader John Boehner called the financial reform bill ill-conceived. He said, "I think it's going to make credit harder for the American people to get, clearly harder for businesses to get." But President Obama says Wall Street took irresponsible risks that threatened the financial system. Under the new law, banks no longer can own or invest in certain trading operations. The government has new powers to seize failing financial companies. These include businesses that, during the financial crisis, were considered too big to fail. And President Obama says the law does something else. He said, "Finally, because of this law, the American people will never again be asked to foot the bill for Wall Street's mistakes. There will be no more tax-funded bailouts." Regulatory agencies will write hundreds of new rules for banks and other financial companies. This follows years of deregulation. Opponents in Congress say they will try to block some measures in the new law. But even if those efforts fail, it is too soon to know just how strong the new rules will be. And that's the VOA Special English Economics Report. I'm Alex Villarreal with the VOA Special English Economics Report. Big stock exchanges in the United States are linked in what is known as the National Market System Plan. The idea is to process deals and report the best available prices to the public as quickly as possible. But there are other ways of investing that operate outside the national market system. In the late 1990s, the Securities and Exchange Commission wanted to make room for new ideas in financial trading. The Commission developed new rules for exchanges and for what are known as alternative trading systems. Alternative trading systems are operated by brokers or dealers. They mainly serve big investors like retirement funds, universities, and financial companies. These systems trade the same public stocks as other market players do, but they do not publicly report their trades. This secrecy explains why they also have another name, dark pools. As of October, there were 86 alternative trading systems registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. A buy or sell order for a large amount of stock can move markets. It can influence other investors to try to buy or sell shares of that same stock. Supporters of alternative trading systems say the secrecy reduces the risk of a disorderly market. But the International Monetary Fund has concerns about alternative trading systems. It says they limit the ability of the investing public to price a security effectively. Also, the IMF says the activity of these trading systems is largely outside the reach of market regulators. Another alternative to the investing methods that most people know is the work of so-called angel investors. These are individuals who invest in new projects, and not just internet startups that hope to become the next Google or Facebook. They could also be small local businesses. Steve Moore made a lot of money in the software business. After he retired, he made an interest-free loan to Christy and Keith Kissler. The couple operate a small organic farm in Washington State. They could not get a bank loan to build their business. In return, Mr. Moore received a minority share of their business. The Center for Venture Research at the University of New Hampshire says angel investing fell more than 6% nationwide in the first half of last year. Still, angel investments during that period totaled $8.5 billion. For VOA Special English, I'm Alex Villarreal.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Economics Report in Special English. On January 1st, both houses of the United States Congress approved a plan to increase taxes for most Americans. This agreement avoided much larger tax increases that were going to take effect this year. After signing the bill, President Obama said it was important to have a balanced approach to the country's fiscal problems. In the final months of 2012, the country faced a combination of higher taxes and automatic budget cuts that were being called the fiscal cliff. The fiscal cliff was avoided, but more remains to be done. Congress has given itself more time to decide how to cut the federal budget. Increased tax revenue and budget restrictions are needed to reduce the federal deficit, which was over $1 trillion last year. The new law increases the tax rate on individuals with earnings of over $400,000 and on couples with earnings of over $450,000. All working Americans will have some kind of tax increase. This is because the share of Social Security taxes paid by employees will return to 2010 levels, an increase from last year of 2%. But the largest part of the tax increase will affect those with a lot of investment income and those with very high wages. Taxes on investment gains and dividends and payments from some kinds of securities will increase as well. Also, the top income tax rate will go to 39.5% from 35%. Overall, the effect of the law is simple. It will be the first major tax increase in 20 years. In addition, lawmakers are facing difficult budget decisions. On March 1st, big automatic budget cuts, or sequestration, is set to take place across the federal government. For VOA Learning English, I'm Carolyn Presutti.
This is the VOA Special English Economics Report. American children and teenagers have increased their use of entertainment media by more than 1 hour a day in the last 5 years.